Start on the dot of time. I now call this meeting to order, and we start with the national anthem, please. May I call on Mr. Larietta to give us the opening prayer, please?
Let's pray. Our Lord our God, we thank you for today. We thank you for bringing us to our annual general meeting. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your protection. We ask for your direction. This we pray in Jesus Christ's name.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the 7th annual general meeting of our bank, Coronation Merchant Bank Limited. All of you present and those attending virtually. Can the registrar please confirm that a quorum has been formed?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, directors, and esteemed shareholders. My name is Busolawale Maikaya, and I represent Coronation Registrars.
Sorry.
My name is Busolawale Maikaya, and I represent Coronation Registrars to Coronation Merchant Bank. We have 12 shareholders attending by proxy with a total of 4,982,096,661 shareholding, representing 84.64% of the issued and fully paid up shares of the company. With this information, we hereby confirm that a quorum has been formed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From the information provided by the registrars, we have the required quorum to constitute this meeting. As a result, I hereby declare the meeting duly convened. Although the government restrictions on public gatherings in line with the COVID-19 protocols have been reasonably relaxed, we have, in the interest of public health, given our shareholders the option of joining this meeting virtually. Also, 1 or 2 of our board members are attending the meeting virtually. Consequently, the proceedings are being streamed live and can be viewed via a link that's available on the bank's website. For those of us participating physically, we're provided hand sanitizers at strategic places on this floor for your use as often as necessary. Face masks have also been provided to all attendees before accessing the building. Please ensure that you wear yours throughout your stay within the premises. I now declare the meeting open. Before we commence on the formal agenda for the meeting, I would like to briefly introduce the members of the Board of Directors and the Company Secretary. First, I'm going to do it starting from the end, and I'll take it to the other end. So, at the extreme end is Mrs. Funke Feishiton Ladimeji, our ED and Chief Operating Officer. Next is Mr. Dere Gogogan, a non-executive director of the bank. Next to him is Mr. Olubumi Fayokun, non-executive director and independent director of the bank. Next to her is Mr. Banja Degwongwe, the managing director, CEO of the bank. To my left is Mr. Stanley Ubani, our company secretary. And next to him is Mrs. Suzanne Iroche, a non-executive director and independent director of the bank. Next to her is Mr. Larietta, a non-executive director. And next To Mr. Etta is Ms. Evelyn Oputu, a non-executive director. And finally, to her left is Mr. Babatunde Dabiri, an independent non-executive director. And I am Babatunde Falawiya, chairman of the bank. Thank you very much. One of our directors, Mr. Adamu Atta, cannot be here physically, but he's attending the meeting virtually. I've already introduced the company secretary, and we also have here with us at this meeting the following people. We have members of the Board Audit Committee, all of whom have already been introduced to you. Mrs. Uroche, the chairperson of the committee, Mr. Babatunde Dabiri, Ms. Evelyn Oputu, Mr. Idaire Gogogan, and Ms. Olubunmi Fayoku. I recognize the presence of our regulators in no particular order. They are the representatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Asogwa Innocent, and Mr. Abikoye Bibitayo. The representatives of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, Mr. Mubarak Mohammed and Mr. Paul Ibzebo. The bank's external auditors, KPMG Professional Services Limited, are represented by Nneka Eluma and Nonso Ohaneje. The bank's external consultants, Mrs. Ernst & Young, is represented by Ijoma Ibiawuchi, who's attending the meeting virtually. Now go to the rules of participation. Please be informed that you should state your name before speaking, and you'll have an opportunity to second each motion put to the meeting. The directors will be available after the meeting for further discussions if required. To facilitate the voting process, the registrar will explain the procedure to cast your votes. Availability of corporate documents, rather. I would like to inform all members that the following documents are available for inspection during the meeting as required by the relevant sections of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. 1, the Register of Shareholders. 2, the Register of Directors' Shareholding. And 3, the Director's record of attendance at board meetings. Notice of meeting. I now call upon the Company Secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Good morning. Notice is hereby given that the 7th Annual General Meeting of Coronation Merchant Bank will hold on the 25th day of April 2022 at the 5th floor of the Coronation House, number 10, Amudi Ojikoto Street, Victoria Land, Lagos, at 11 a.m. to consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following resolutions. As ordinary resolution, to receive the audited financial statement for the year ended December 31st, 2021, and the report of directors, auditors, and audit committees thereon, to declare a final dividend, to re-elect Mr. Larry Etta as a non-executive director, to re-elect Mr. Babatunde Dabiri as an independent non-executive director, to re-elect Mrs. Susan Iroche as independent non-executive director, to reappoint KPMG Professional Services Limited as auditors to the company from the end of the annual general meeting until the end of the next year annual general meeting, to authorize the board of directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, to disclose the remuneration of the bank's managers. A special business to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolution as ordinary resolution of the bank. Number 1, that pursuant to Section 305, subsection 3 of the Company and Allied Matters Act and Article 48 of the Company's Article of Association, the directors be and are hereby authorized to take all necessary steps to comply with the requirement of Section 124 of the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 and Regulation 13 of the Company Regulation 2021 in relation to the unissued shares standing to the capital of the company, including but not limited to the allotment or cancellation of such unissued shares. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute any agreement, deeds, notices, or any other documents, and to appoint any such professional parties, and to perform all such other acts and do all such other things as may be necessary or incidental to giving effect to Resolution 9A above. The director's fee for the financial year ending December 31st, 2022 be and hereby fees are 20 million naira for the chairman and 18 million naira for each of the non-executive directors. The sitting allowance for directors be and is hereby fees at 250,000 per sitting for the chairman and 200,000 naira per sitting for the non-executive directors. To consider the report of the board performance appraiser for the year ended December 31st, 2021, and reappoint the firm of Ernst & Young as consultant for the board performance appraiser for the year ending December 31st, 2022. By the order of the board, this is dated 4th day of April, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. Quorum. I'd like to draw your attention to Section 19, subsection 1 of the Company's Articles of Association, which states as follows. No business shall be transacted at any general meeting unless a quorum of members is present at the time when the meeting proceeds to business. Save as in herein otherwise provided, 5 members of the company personally present shall be a quorum for the choice of a chairman, the declaration of a dividend, and the adjournment of the meeting. For all other purposes, the quorum shall be members personally present, not being less than 7, and holding or represented by proxy not less than 1/10 of the issued capital of the company. Information received from the registrars indicates that a total of 12 corporate shareholders representing 85% of the shareholding of the company's issued share capital are present at the commencement of the meeting or represented by proxies. The registrar already told us the proxies and gave us the numbers for the proxies. Based on the foregoing, I hereby confirm that a quorum has been formed and the meeting duly convened. I will invite the registrars to explain the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Here is a brief description of the voting process. Having gotten requisite approvals to hold the meeting by proxy, we have captured the total number of 12 shareholders, voting details received by proxy and holding 4,982,096,661 units, representing 84.64% of the issued share capital. Upon declaration of the resolutions by the chairman, the votes cast and captured using the proxy form submitted will be displayed. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman's statement. I confirm that the chairman's statement published on pages 12 to 15 of the annual reports has been circulated. I seek your permission to take the statement as read. Thank you. We now move to the formal business of this meeting. The first item on the agenda is to receive the audited financial statements together with the reports of the directors and audit committee for the period ended 31st December 2021. I have the pleasure of presenting to you the audited financial statements together with the reports of the directors and audit committee for the period ended 31st December 2021. With your permission, I would like to take the report of directors on page 85 of the annual report as read. In line with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, I now call upon the representatives of the auditors, KPMG, to read the report of the auditors, which was circulated to members with the accounts for the financial year ended 31st December 2021. The auditor's report is found on pages 122 to 126 of the annual report.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. My name is Neka Eluma, and I'll be reading the Independent Auditor's Report. Like the chairman rightly said, it's on pages 122 to 126 of the annual report. With your permission, sir, I'll be reading an abridged form of the report, focusing on critical paragraphs within the report. Do I have your permission? Thank you, sir. To the shareholders of Coronation Merchant Bank Limited, the report on the audit of the financial statements. Our opinion. We have audited the financial statements of Coronation Merchant Bank Limited, the bank, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2021, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the statement of changes in equity, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes comprising significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the bank as at 31st December 2021, and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards and in the manner required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011, the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, and relevant Central Bank of Nigeria CBN guidelines and circulars. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with the international standards on auditing. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the bank in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including the International Independence Standards, which is the ISBA code. Together with the ethical and other ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements and the ISBA code, we believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The reports on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Schedule 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. 1. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, in our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the bank, so far as appears from our examination of those books, and proper returns adequate for the purposes of our audit have been received from branches not visited by us. 3, the bank's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and returns. Compliance with Section 26, subsection 3 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and Central Bank of Nigeria Circular BSD/1/2004. 1, the bank paid the penalty in respect of a contravention of the Securities and Exchange Commission regulations during the year ended 31st December 2021. Details of penalty paid are disclosed in notes 40 to the financial statements. And 2, related party transactions and balances are disclosed in note 37 to the financial statements in compliance with the Central Bank of Nigeria Circular BSD/1/2004. Signed by Nneka Eluma on behalf of KPMG Professional Services on the 1st of April, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to invite the chairperson of the Board Audit Committee, Mrs. Suzanne Iroche, to read the report of the Board Audit Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The report of the Board Audit Committee. In accordance with the provisions of Section 359, subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, the members of the Audit Committee of Coronation Merchant Bank Limited hereby report on the financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2021 as follows. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 407 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria and acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. We are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the bank are in agreement with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits for the year ended December 31st, 2021 were satisfactory and reinforced the bank's internal control systems. As required by the provisions of the CBN Circular BSD/1/2014, dated February 18, 2004, on disclosure of insider-related credits in financial statements, we reviewed the insider-related credits of the bank and found them to be as disclosed in the financial statements. We have deliberated on the findings of the external auditors who have confirmed that necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of their audit, and we are satisfied with management's responses thereon and with the effectiveness of the accounting and internal control systems of the bank. Okay, I'm Suzanne Iroche, Chairperson, Audit Committee, Coronation Merchant Bank. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Roche. We now move to the ordinary business of the day. As required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Articles of Association of the company, I lay before you, our esteemed shareholders, the annual reports and accounts of the bank for the financial year ended December 31st, 2021. You now have an opportunity to ask questions on the accounts. It would help if you could refer to the page of the annual reports and accounts to which the question relates. Any person asking a question or seeking clarification should please give his or her name and state the question or issue audibly. So the floor is open. Anybody from the virtual world? No comments, explanations? Okay.
Mr. Esteemed Chairman, my name is Agboviosa Agimokode, representing Marina Mars Principal Investments Limited. It appears that the shareholders are all very happy with the accounts, and there are no comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Any other comments, explanations? Okay, in that case, we will move to the other ordinary business of the day. And that is to be moved as an ordinary resolution. To facilitate the smooth conduct of the other business of the day, I will move each motion and invite seconders from the floor. The seconders are kindly requested to state their names to enable the secretary to record the same accordingly. Furthermore, members are kindly requested to follow the voting process. First resolution is declaration of dividend. In view of the results declared in the audited financial statements that have just been laid, the directors are pleased to recommend a dividend of 12 kobo per ordinary share, which will be subject to the deduction of withholding tax. I hereby move that a dividend of 12 kobo per ordinary share be sanctioned and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to distribute dividends from the profit of Coronation Merchant Bank during the financial year ended 31st December 2021 to members whose names appear on the register of the bank as at the close of business on April 20th, 2022. Could someone please second this motion?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Rotimi Aleshiloye with Coronation Registrars. I second the motion, sir.
Thank you very much. Registrar, can you conduct the voting process, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We ask that you remain patient while we display the vote. Thank you.
Thank
so
you
we
very
have
much.
a total of 12 shareholders who have voted by proxy, with a total number of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the total votes casted, voting in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I appreciate the board and shareholders for approving the dividend payment. The next item is the re-election of directors. By virtue of Article 54 of the company's Articles of Association, 1/3 of all non-executive directors are required to stand for re-election every year, together with directors appointed by the board since the last annual general meeting. In keeping with this requirement, Mr. Larry Etta, Mr. Babatunde Dabiri, and Mrs. Suzanne Roche will retire at this AGM and, being eligible, will submit themselves for re-election. It is hereby confirmed that following a formal evaluation, the directors continue to demonstrate commitment to their roles as non-executive directors. The profiles of the 3 directors are on pages 46 to 53 of the annual reports. I shall therefore move the necessary resolutions for their re-election. I hereby move that in accordance with Article 54 of the Articles of Association of Coronation Merchant Bank, Mr. Larry Etta be re-elected as the director in the bank. Could someone please rise and second the motion?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Agbovios Agimokode, representing Coastal Properties Limited. I second the motion.
Thank you. Registrar, can you please conduct the...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I ask that you remain patient while we display the vote. We have 12 shareholders who have voted for this resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the total votes casted. Thank you.
Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you very much for the election. I hereby move that in accordance with Article 54 of the Articles of Association of Coronation Merchant Bank, Mr. Babatunde Dabiri be re-elected as the director in the bank. Could someone please rise and second the motion?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ademola Philip Adeomi, representing Mike Ade Investment. The second motion.
Thank you very much. Registrar, can you please conduct the vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a total of 12 shareholders who have voted for this resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you very much for the election. I hereby move that in accordance with Article 54 of the Articles of Association of Coronation Merchant Bank, Mrs. Suzanne Roche be re-elected as a director in the bank. Could someone please rise and second the motion?
Chairman, sir, my name is Rotimi Aleshloe. I second the motion, sir.
Thank you. Registrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please, we ask that you be patient while we display the result. We have 12 shareholders who have voted for the resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the total votes casted. Thank you.
Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you very much for the election. We now come to the next item on the agenda, which is the appointment of auditors. Section 401 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that every company shall at each annual general meeting appoint an auditor to audit the financial statements of the company and to hold office from the conclusion of that annual general meeting until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. KPMG Professional Services was appointed as the auditor of the bank by a resolution of shareholders passed at the 6th annual general meeting of the bank held on 9th April 2021, and the auditors have indicated their willingness to so act for the next 1 year. I hereby move that KPMG Professional Services be and is hereby appointed as the auditors to the company from the end of the annual general meeting until the end of next year's annual general meeting. Could someone please rise and second the motion?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Medical Director. My name is Olamide Olajolo, representing Coronation Insurance PLC. Second the motion.
Thank you. Registrar, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have 12 shareholders who have voted for this resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the votes casted. Thank you.
Thank you. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. We now come to the next item on the agenda, which is the remuneration of the auditors. Section 408 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that the remuneration of the auditor of a company shall be fixed by the company in general meeting, or in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. Pursuant to this provision, you are required to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditor for the financial year ending December 31st, 2022. Pursuant to the above provision of CAMA, I therefore move that the Board of Directors be authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the financial year ending 31st December 2022. Could someone please second the motion?
Morning, Mr. Chairman and Board. My name is Agmokode, representing Trust Bank. I second motion.
Thank you very much. Registrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 12 shareholders who have voted for this resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the votes casted.
Thank you. The resolution is duly carried. This now takes us to the next item on the agenda, which is the disclosure of the remuneration of the bank's managers. Sections 238 and Section 257 of CAMA 2020 require the bank to disclose the remuneration of managers to members at annual general meeting as an ordinary business item. For this disclosure, the managers include employees on the grade of assistant general managers and above. In compliance with these provisions, the bank hereby discloses that its managers were paid a total of $280,300,000 in the 2021 financial year, excluding other benefits, bonuses, and allowances. The entire package was reflective of the banking industry's competitive salary package and the extent to which the bank's objectives had been met for the financial year. Now to the next order of business, which is special business, but it should be moved as an ordinary resolution. And it pertains to the treatment of the unissued shares of the bank. By the combined effect of Section 124 of CAMA, Regulation 13 of the Companies Regulations 2021, and the Corporate Affairs Commission's public notice of April 16, 2021, all companies with unissued shares are required to issue the shares before December 31, 2022, after which time such shares will no longer be recognized as part of the share capital of the company. Failure to comply with the requirement will carry a daily default penalty. The company has about 4,949,453,715,000 unissued shares in its books. The resolutions are therefore required to empower the directors to take all required actions and do all such acts as are necessary to comply with this requirement of the law. In the light of the above explanation, I hereby move the following resolutions. 1. That pursuant to Section 305, subsection 3 of CAMA and Article 48 of the Company's Articles of Association, the directors be and are hereby authorized to take all steps necessary to comply with the requirement of Section 124 of CAMA and Regulation 13 of the Company's Regulation 2021 in relation to the unissued shares standing to the capital of the company, including but not limited to the allotment or cancellation of such unissued shares. 2. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute any agreements, deeds, notices, or any other documents, and to appoint any such professional parties, and to perform all such other acts and do all such other things as may be necessary or incidental to giving effect to Resolution 1 above. Could someone please second the motion?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and directors. My name is Olamide Jolo. I second the motion.
Thank you. Registrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We ask that you remain patient while we display the results. We have 12 shareholders who voted for the resolution, holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the vote casted. Thank you.
Thank you. The resolution is duly carried. Director's remuneration. Coronation Merchant Bank is required by law to seek your approval of the annual fees payable to non-executive directors. Shareholders will therefore be required to authorize the Board of Directors to propose the directors' emoluments for subsequent approval by the members. In line with the above requirement, I hereby propose that the directors' fees for the financial year ending December 31st, 2022 shall be and is hereby fixed as follows. Directors' fee, 20 million naira for the chairman and 18 million naira for non-executive directors, for other non-executive directors. And sitting allowances, chairman 250,000 and other non-executive directors 200,000 per meeting. Could someone please second the motion?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, sir, other directors. My name is Rotimi Aleshile, representing Coronation Registrars. I second the motion.
Thank you. Registrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I ask that you remain patient while we display the results. We have 12 shareholders who have voted for this resolution, holding 4,982,096,661 units, representing 100% of the total vote casted. Thank you.
Thank you. The resolution is duly carried. This now brings us to the last business of the day, which is also special business, and that's the presentation of the annual board evaluation report. By the combined effect of Section 5, Subsection 1, Subsection 2, Subsection 5 of the CBN Code of Corporate Governance for Banks and Discount Houses, and Article 14 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance, the bank is required to appoint a consultant to conduct an annual board and directors appraisal covering the board structure and composition, responsibilities, processes, and relationships, as well as individual members' competencies and respective roles in the board's performance. The outcome of this appraisal is expected to be presented to shareholders at the annual general meeting. Pursuant to the aforementioned provisions, the firm of Ernst & Young was appointed by the bank as the external consultant for the board performance appraisal for the financial year ending December 31st, 2021. The firm concluded the assessment, and I now call on the representative of the firm to present the firm's report, a summary of which is found on page 27 of the annual reports.
That you can hear. Can you please confirm you can
Yes, we can hear
me? Right. I'll be presenting the report of the external consultant on the board evaluation of Coronation Merchant Bank Limited. We have performed the evaluation of the board of Coronation
Sorry, can you please
Merchant
introduce
Bank
yourself?
for the year ended 31st December 2021 in accordance with the guidelines of Section 2.8.3 of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Revised Code of Corporate Governance 2014, and the Financial Reporting Council, Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018. The CBN CCG 2014 mandates an annual appraisal of the board and individual directors of financial institutions with specific focus on the board structure and composition, responsibilities, processes, relationships, individual directors' competencies, and respective roles in the performance of the board. Subsection 2.8 8.2 of the code requires each board to identify and adopt, in the light of the company's future strategy, critical success factors or key strategic objectives, while subsection 2.8.3 requires that such appraisal should be conducted by an independent consultant. Our approach included the review of Coronation Merchant Bank's corporate governance framework and all relevant policies and procedures. We obtained written representation through online questionnaires administered to the board members and conducted one-on-one interviews with directors. The evaluation is limited in nature and as such may not necessarily disclose all significant matters about the bank or reveal irregularities in the underlying information. Based on our work, except as noted below, the Board of Coronation Merchant Bank has complied with the requirements of Section 2.8.3 of the CBN CCG 2014 during the year ended 31st December 2021. Specific recommendations for further improvement of Coronation Merchant Bank's corporate governance practices have been articulated and included in our detailed reports to the board. These recommendations cover the following areas: strategy, quality of the board, board operations, board risk management activities, relationship with stakeholders, as well as transparency and disclosure. My name is Ijoma Ibauchi from EY. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I was hoping you would do that. Thank you. Thanks for the report. I hereby move that the board evaluation report of Coronation Merchant Bank for the year ended December 31st, 2021 be approved and adopted, and that the external consultant, Mrs. Ernst & Young, should be reappointed to conduct the 2022 evaluation exercise for the bank. Please could someone second the motion?
Chairman, sir, and directors, my name is Rotimi Aleshla, representing Coronation Registrars. I second the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I ask that you remain patient while I display the results. We have 12 shareholders voting for this resolution. A minute, please. Holding a total of 4,982,096,661 units, representing a total of 100% of the votes casted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I declare the resolution duly carried. Now, coming to closing remarks, I'd like to give an opportunity to shareholders to make any comments if they'd like to, both in the room and attending virtually. If there are any comments? Apparently not. So I would just go to thank everybody who's participated in this in these proceedings, all our shareholders, our stakeholders, our attendees, our regulators, our consultants, our external service providers, and of course the management and staff and the board of Coronation Merchant Bank for a successful year in spite of all the headwinds, and also to thank you all for attending this meeting in spite of the logistical issues. And this concludes the business of the meeting, which I now declare closed. Lunch has been provided for those who can partake, and I urge those who have the ability to partake generously. Thank you very much. Now for the national anthem as we close.